and has been a part of New Center-13 since 1996. He earned his journalism degree from University of Eau Claire, which is also where he met his wife Sherry. Together they have 2 daughters and live in Chippewa Falls. In addition to keeping up with the news, Pat is an avid reader with interest in state and national politics. He enjoys internet surfing and is a member of the board of directory of the Chippewa Valley chapter of Literacy Volunteers of America. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the man that brings us the news, Mr. Pat Kreitlow.
Thanks very much for that wonderful introduction. I hope everybody's had an enjoyable brunch so far. It's a pleasure to be among such esteemed company. It's also a pleasure to introduce myself to some new people for the first time. I'm used to, up in the Eau Claire area, often being referred to as Rob, because we have a Rob Krivik up there who is a current state assemblyman and a former weekend anchor at TV 13. And I'm a former weekend anchor at TV 13, and she's a political junkie, and I'm a political junkie, so the difference ends there. He still gets called Pat twice a week, I get called Rob twice a week or more. And occasionally I get bumped into new faces, like some of the folks at my table who remind me that our viewing area only extends so far, and once you get beyond the hills, you're a big fish in a small pond, and this ain't the pond anymore. But I know gifted and honored students when I see them, and I enjoy talking to them, and that's what I enjoy most about this time of year, is going into schools and special events like this, and getting to meet people who have worked their tail off over the past 4 years and beyond. And they are truly the apple in the eyes of their parents who have been raising them and encouraging them. And this day and this time of year is a lot about the students and their achievements, but it is a special time for the parents as well. And every bit of pride that you feel is vindicated at this point, and should be celebrated for the work that you did and for the ways that you nudged, cajoled, and pushed your children through. And I understand this all the more now that my daughters have turned 15 and 13 and started high school. And the pushing and the cajoling and all the things that I pushed back against. And now I find myself doing, but for good reason. There's a lot of pride involved in being honored as a senior at this time of year. I remember feeling that way at the end of high school myself, that you felt privileged to be in a setting like this. And I remember, and I should be embarrassed to tell this story, and rightly so, I remember not being able to feel that way at the end of college, taking college for granted at times, until graduation day, when I noticed, in my cap and gown, and I thought I looked pretty good, and, I had a good 4-year run. I was getting out in 4 years, and yet there were people wearing cords, around their gowns, and then I came to realize, yeah, those are honor cords, and I looked in the program, and it said, at the time, I think for UW-Eau Claire, it was, honor students were something like a 3.65 or something like that, or a 3.8, whatever it was. I was 1/10 of a point short on that. And I remember one of my first college classes freshman year, it was a geography course. And it was a basic course. It was so easy that I skipped it, thinking, I'll make it up later. Well, I recall at my midterm getting a very poor grade, acing the rest of the class because that was a wake-up call. But consequently, instead of getting the A in it, I got like a B- or a C or something and missed out on that little honor cord. And it seems like such a small thing, but now I can look back at it all these years later and say, that drive that I had in high school, I should have continued to have that in college. And I hope that you'll continue to achieve as well in your post-secondary education and in your careers, and that you don't, tread water or rest on your laurels. And, some of us kick ourselves in the behind and we move on from there and hopefully do good things. I'd like to think that I have, for what I do at TV 13, it's something that I enjoy. I still feel after all these years I have the best job in town. But I have it because I worked my way toward it in a lot of smaller stations and in a lot of grunt work. but it was all worth it, paid off well, and that's the advice that I want to pass on to the students here today, is to continue to push yourself. Yes, by all means, enjoy the roses along the way. You know, take time to have some fun. Give yourself a break for a bit here. Pat yourself on the back. But at some point, you'll get back on the horse as well and do great things because you have that potential in you. I'll leave you with one other piece of advice because I know we have several other speakers today, and that is this. Summed up in one word, it's about balance. To be more specific, an open mind. And I bring you that point of view from a typical American newsroom, which is accused of skewing left as often as it is skewing right. And people accuse me of writing pro-Republican and pro-Democrat. And I hear it equally from both sides, which makes me feel real good. Because I feel like I'm doing my job well. I'm getting criticized from all sides and complimented from all sides as well. I'd like to think it means that I'm keeping an open mind, being receptive to new ideas. And that's what I want you to keep in mind as well. To not get locked into a single mindset. You're going to hear a lot about that this year. The divide in this country, the red states versus the blue states, the two sides that won't talk to each other. Compromise has become a dirty word in American politics and on the local scene as well at times. That's very unfortunate. And I would urge that you be part of the next generation of adults coming up, not afraid to compromise, not afraid to have a spirited discussion, a debate. Never be afraid to say the words, yeah, good point. Let me think about that. Continue to hold your ground, but at some point work together for solutions rather than retributions at ballot boxes and so forth. If you do that, you will bring pride to your own generation and you will bring more great American ideas. All of America's great achievements were built on compromise and debate and working together toward solutions. If you do that, you will make these parents, these teachers, and all of us watching you even more proud, even more than we already are. Thanks very much and congratulations.
Good morning. I am Joseph Janke, a senior at Lincoln High School. Our next guest understands both finance and the grocery business, as she and her husband own and operate a total of 6 grocery stores. Barb Hagenbarth has not always worked in retail, however. After graduating with honors from Onalaska High School, she attended UW La Crosse, where she earned a degree in business and was a member of the college show choir. Singing paid off, because in 1984 she was able to earn the title of Miss Wisconsin, and as a result of her performance at the Miss America pageant, was selected to perform in the Miss America USO troupe. In 1986, the same troupe performed for the rededication of the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor. Barb worked in the banking industry for 10 years before she and her husband built their first grocery store. She now serves as the Chief Financial Officer of Hagenbarth Food Group. She and her husband Dave live in Galesville with their 2 sons, Spencer and Austin, where she continues to sing for community and church events. Although her schedule is very busy, she still finds time to go golfing, camping, running, and swimming. Please give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Mrs. Barb Hagenbarth.
Well, good morning, everyone. I have to admit, usually when I'm in front of a crowd, I'm usually singing. And technically when I'm singing, I don't get quite as nervous as when I'm speaking to all of you, and especially speaking to the crowd that we have today. And again, all of you, students and teachers, should be very proud of yourselves and your accomplishments. This is absolutely wonderful. Again, my name is Barb Hagenbarth, and believe it or not, at one time, I also was a high school senior. You know, it's kind of hard to believe. I remember when, at your age, 30 seemed old, didn't it? Now 50 and 60s, they're looking too bad right now. But as I look at out of all of your faces, I do see the future. I see the future right in front of me. I remember 25 years ago or so when I graduated from Alaska, everybody was asking me, so what are you going to do in the future? Where are you going to school? What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, and at graduation, all of them were talking about the future. The future this and the future that. And at the time, I was only 18. I didn't have those answers. I didn't know exactly where my future was going to take me. It took me a while to figure it out. To figure out why. Why was everybody so interested in my future? Finally, I figured it out. And it wasn't so much about me, it was about them. You see, as you get a little older, you'll realize the importance of the next generation. When we talk about your future, we're actually talking about our future too. We're talking about the future of the school that you go to, the community in which you live, the state of Wisconsin, and even the country that you live in. There will be decisions that you make that will impact the history of the United States of America. No, if that's not pressure. There will be a time when the decisions you make will also impact my future. Say, if I'm really boring today, you might come back and kick me sometime when you're older. You'll remember, you know that lady that spoke when we were graduating May and she was bad. So I think maybe we'll get her back by raising her taxes. Or making her live in Iowa. No, just teasing. Iowa's a wonderful city, the state. I lived there for many years. But you know what, once you come from Wisconsin, there really isn't any other place to live but Rockwood, Wisconsin. So you see how important you are. You are the next generation. And then comes college. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse in 6 years with a 4-year degree in business. Do the math. It took me a little longer. But I had a couple of distractions while I was going through college. Actually, I had about 2 years of distractions going through college. And I remember graduating, and then people asked me again, what are you going to do with your future? Well, my response was, well, I've spent the last 8 years checking out groceries. All I know is I know what I don't want to be doing the rest of my life. And then that backfired. As you mentioned, my husband and I own 6 supermarkets and employ about 300 people. So keep in mind when you're planning your future to remain flexible, really flexible, because your life will take various courses. And embrace those changes, because that's the kind of, it makes you a stronger person for it. Seriously, all of us here today share a special appreciation for education. The parents, teachers, and administrators in this room all get it. They all understand that education means opportunity, plain and simple. And you guys get it too. You're the ones that have worked very hard to be the best. You are the best students in your schools. And that is an accomplishment that is wonderful. So congratulations on that accomplishment. It is a very considerable accomplishment. An accomplishment is a motivator, a very powerful motivator. Remember how it feels. Remember how great it tastes. Because self-motivation is what got you here today and will determine where you get tomorrow. In your future, education will open doors for you. And your motivation, honed by an need to accomplish things, will determine whether you walk through that door. Be willing to take risks. Get out of your comfort zone. Growth comes from reaching out and exploring new opportunities. In the end, we are nothing but the sum of our experiences. In closing, let me leave you with one thing that I have learned. In life, you will make it whatever you put into it. There are no excuses, no one else to blame. It is your life, and you are responsible for it. You are responsible for all of it. You get to make all of the decisions. Remember to seek advice, listen, and learn from others. And above all, keep your integrity. Other people can't stop your success. They can only make your success greater. Now, success you don't find success when you find yourself rich. It's when you find yourself happy. So I wish you all the very best, and God bless you all.
I'm Ellen Nordahl, and I'm a senior at the Black River Falls High School. This morning, I'm pleased to present Mr. Todd Anderson. Todd is a graduate of the Black River Falls High School and currently owns and operates a financial planning and consulting firm in downtown Black River Falls. So without further ado, Mr. Anderson.
Thanks, Ellen. I was telling the kids at my table here that I do end up doing quite a bit of speaking in my field, though this definitely is a different challenge for me, as it's real easy to stand up and talk in front of people about your field, just like Mr. Kreitlow does every evening. But I want to welcome everyone, and it's a great pleasure to be here today as one of the special guests. I see in the program, Linda McConnell referred to me as a financial planner, and whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I've been called lots of different things: financial advisor, financial consultant, the investment guy. And as some of you know, I officiate high school basketball, and believe me, I've been called much worse. When Linda called, the first thing that came to my mind was she was calling on behalf of the Center-Lincoln Investment Club and was looking for some type of hot stock tip for the investment club. I know I've talked with Marcus Jank here a few times, and for those of you that aren't familiar with the Center-Lincoln Investment Club, they've been very fortunate to have been given a sum of money to actual dollars by Milton and Lydia Lunda to actually real dollars to invest and use for different projects, the gains on those dollars to use for different projects within their school. And so occasionally I get a call from, I know I've got a call from Marcus, and I thought when Linda was calling, that was what she was looking for, was a tip from me. But I'm honored to be here today. In the next few minutes, I'd like to briefly talk about success, the importance of education, and give you some advice for the future. All the students that are here today have obviously achieved and deservingly are being recognized. You are the leaders of your respective schools and no doubtedly succeed in other areas besides academics. Success means different things to different people, especially at different stages of your life. As students, and as high school students, success is typically measured by academics, high ACT scores, and typically wins versus losses in athletics. To your parents, success is measured quite differently. I measure success both personally and professionally quite different today compared to when I was graduating from high school and from college. Personally, my focus is on my family and laying the groundwork for my children to grow up and be happy, productive, and respectful individuals, just like all of you. Ask your parents. I'm sure they all understand. Professionally, in my career as a financial advisor, I measure success by a number of ways. One of the ways I measure success is by the number of individuals I'm able to help out in reaching their financial goals and objectives. It may be helping them plan for their retirement. It may be helping them get through or fund a college education, or it may be planned in case of a premature death or disability. The scary part about life in general is that there are no guarantees. Each one of you, as you go different directions in your life, will define success in your own way. Just remember, you earn success. It's not given to you. There's one way to increase your chances of being successful in this world, and success, as I mentioned, is an extremely broad term. But one very positive way is through education. I can't emphasize enough the importance of education, whether it's a 4-year degree to become a teacher, an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, a tech or trade school to become an electrician or a computer technician. Education will give you more opportunities once you get out in the real world. I graduated from Black River Falls High School back in 1984 and decided to attend the University of Minnesota. At the time, I didn't really have any idea what I was planning to do, as I probably changed 3 or 4 times my focus. At one point, I wanted to be a sports agent. At another point, a corporate lawyer, though my first choice was a professional baseball player. I was fortunate to be able to play 4 years of college baseball at the University of Minnesota and win 2 Big Ten championships while I was there. I didn't reach all my goals on the baseball field, but I was fortunate to have achieved my academic goals as I was named Academic All-Big Ten all 4 years. I graduated with a degree in accounting and a minor in finance, or minor in econ, excuse me. I felt accounting would give me the greatest opportunities once I got out in the real world. Along the way, I learned some very valuable lessons that I hope each of you will remember. The whole college experience taught me not only the academics or the book side of things, but it also taught me a lot about time management, teamwork, and the importance of having organizational skills, to name a few. These lessons are extremely important facets of the educational experience that position you for the future endeavors that each of you will face. After graduating from the University of Minnesota, I accepted a position at Price Waterhouse as an accountant. Price Waterhouse is one of the largest, it is the largest accounting firm in the world today. It was a tremendous experience, and I was able to travel throughout the United States and meet and work with some very talented people. After 2 years in corporate America, I decided I wanted to have my own business and continue to utilize my academic background in accounting and econ. I interviewed with several major investment and financial planning firms in the Twin Cities, and in 1992 started my own financial planning practice. In 1993, I decided the big city was not for me and moved back to Black River Falls and have continued to grow my business. My wife gives me a hard time, quite often actually, that I'm one of the few people that truly loves their job, and I feel fortunate for that. Finally, I have a couple points of advice for each of you today. First of all, set goals for yourself, both personally and professionally. The goals you set should be lofty but achievable, documented, and specific. They should also be reviewed often. My head baseball coach at the University of Minnesota taught me that lesson my freshman year, about 2 weeks into practice, and I've been doing it every 5 years since then. Number 2, don't be afraid of failure. In other words, don't give up. Keep a positive attitude. Finally, tying back to my financial planning background, start as soon as you can developing a simple financial plan for yourself. The first step is a budget. And that may seem crazy for kids going on and furthering their education, but I think the sooner you start, the better off you'll be. Figure out how much money you have coming in, whether it's through financial aid, scholarships, work-related income, or whatever the case may be, and budget that. I remember in college going on several occasions a month having 20 bucks in my pocket and having to find a way to make it. It is scary, let me tell you. And then also figure out your expense side and make sure that you're not overdoing things. The problem most people have, and the reason I say that is the problem most people have is they don't have a budget. They don't have a plan. And they're spending more and they're living not quite within their means, I should say. The other problem people have is the credit card problem. And I just as an example, I had an individual in yesterday that is 32 years old and has currently $45,000 in credit card debt and says, "What do you do? What should I do?" And I said, "You got some problems." Credit cards are great if they use them right, and I know that when I was in college, even back in the mid-'80s, I was constantly getting solicited to be using my credit cards. But use them wisely, and you'll be just fine. Once you start your career, modify your budget and begin to pay yourself first. Put money away to help meet your longer-term goals. I have numerous stories of people locally who have never made a lot of money, but started planning earlier than most, and it's amazing the wealth that they've created for themselves. Think about it. If you start putting $150 a month away right away out of college, 40 years later you could have well over $1 million. A pretty small sacrifice to reach longer-term goals. There's a scary statistic that only 3% of the individuals working today will retire in the same financial situation or better as when they were working. Remember, no one plans to fail, but most people fail to have a plan. Again, congratulations to all the students being honored here today, along with your parents and teachers. Good luck to all of you.
Good morning. I'm Marcus Janke, twin to Joe who just spoke, a senior at Lincoln High School. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. This is a quote from Maya Angelou and is a favorite of this morning's speaker. It should be no surprise that Mrs. Doyle's favorite quote has to do with both education and service. From 1967 to 1969, both she and her husband served in the Peace Corps. They had just graduated from UW-Madison and were sent to Tunisia in North Africa, where they served as English teachers. After that experience, both Mr. and Mrs. Doyle chose to rededicate themselves to trying to make a difference for others. From 1972 to 1975, the Doyles lived in Arizona, where they taught school and provided legal services to the Navajo Nation. Currently, Jessica is on leave from her job as learning coordinator at a middle school in Madison, so she can devote herself full-time to supporting her husband, Governor Jim Doyle. School and family have always been Jessica's priorities, and she intends to pursue these interests throughout her tenure as First Lady of Wisconsin. The Governor and First Lady have 2 sons, Gus and Gabe, and 1 grandson, Asaya. I am pleased to introduce to you Wisconsin's First Lady, Jessica Doyle.
Marcus so much. When I came in and I was seated next to Marcus, I told him that he had been introducing a speaker when I had just come in the door. So he was able to point out that you all have 2 of them. And I think that's really, really wonderful. Thanks a lot. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you so much for including me. We had a beautiful drive here from Madison this morning. And I must say, I know I don't need to tell you, you live in one of the most beautiful parts of Wisconsin. So please don't take that for granted. It's really spectacular. I'm really happy to be here with the honored students, parents, and teachers. Today at Castle Hill Supper Club, we have a chance to honor you and to celebrate all your achievements. As an educator, I'm always thrilled when I see students work hard and accomplish their goals. And all of you here have so much to be proud of. You are high honor students, valedictorians, salutatorians, National Merit Scholars, high ACT achievers, student council president, and Herb Cole Scholarship nominees. You are obviously the best and the brightest. Congratulations to all of you for your success. Think of all you accomplished to get here, and what a great foundation this will be for the rest of your lives. I'm sure you've learned a tremendous amount of knowledge. You learned facts which you may remember, and you also learned a process which I hope will last forever. You learned how to challenge yourself, how to work hard, and how to move to that next higher level, to problem solve, to cooperate, to manage your time, and probably to work harder than ever. Then you mastered it well enough to get it across on paper or to teach somebody else. I know this will be the greatest lifetime habit. To get here today, I'm sure you also have the best cheerleaders in the world, your parents, and it's wonderful to see so many of them here today. I'm sure I join you in thanking them for coming through in that special way only parents can, and for always believing in you. Each one of you also has great teachers, and I'm so proud that you chose to honor them here today as well. They made a choice to go above and beyond for you so that you could accomplish your goals, and they are to be commended. I thank them, and I trust that you have done the same. You're prepared now, I believe, for whatever you decide to do next. I also believe and I encourage you to continue to use your knowledge and your talents to serve others. I hope you tutor a younger student or read or talk to an elderly person to keep their minds alert, or think of new ways to solve old problems for the rest of us, or possibly discover a scientific or medical breakthrough which will change all our lives for the better. Each of you has so much to offer. In addition, serving someone else in these ways will enrich your life many times over. I know the governor joins me in congratulating me and also hoping that you will choose at some point in your life to give back to Wisconsin. We have outstanding colleges and universities in our state and an excellent K-12 system that has prepared you well. Moreover, we need young people like you to supply the talent, skills, and hard work that will help create a bright future for our state. You may leave for a while, since broadening your horizons is always very worthwhile. We hear Iowa is nice. Yet I hope you always remember the great opportunity and great people you have to return to in Wisconsin. My advice, believe in yourself, do what you love, and do what will help others. Thank you for making us all so proud, and enjoy the rest of your celebration.
Senior at Lincoln High School.
And I'm Kyle, also a senior at Lincoln.
Our next speaker is a professor of Spanish and Foreign Language Education at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. To make him feel more at home, we will introduce him in both Spanish and English. Are you up to this task, guys?
Sí.
Mr. Paul J. Hoff not only teaches Spanish at the university, he is also director of the University Honors Program.
Señor Paul J. Hoff no solo enseña español en la universidad, es también director del programa de honores de la universidad.
He received his doctoral degree in Spanish and Education from Syracuse University, a master's degree in Hispanic Civilization from New York University.
Recibo su grado doctoral en el español y la educación de la Universidad de Syracuse y magistrado grado de la civilización hispana de la Universidad de Nueva York.
He has worked with the Concordia language villages and collaborated on 4 Spanish textbook series, Para empezar, poco a poco, somos así, and navegando.
Trabajo con Concordia Language Villages y colaborado en 4 series españolas, para empezar, poco a poco, así de somos y navegando.
He is a certified OPI tester who regularly conducts interviews for Language Testing International.
Es un trabajador certificado de OPI que conduce regularmente entrevistas para Language Testing International.
He doesn't spend all his time working, however. He also enjoys traveling, cooking, listening to the music of Bob Dylan, and spending time with his family.
Sin embargo, él no trabaja todo el tiempo. Él también le gusta viajar, cocinar y escuchar la música de Bob Dylan y estar con su familia.
Mr. Hoff and his wife have 3 children, Clara, Anna, and Alex.
Señor Hoff y su esposa tienen 3 hijos, Clara, Ana y Alex.
Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Paul Hoff.
Por favor, pido bienvenido al señor Paul Hoff.
Buenos días a todos. That was a great surprise. I never expected Spanish this morning. Thank you, Megan and Kaya, for your many kind words. I really appreciate it. This is just absolutely a wonderful gathering, and I'm delighted to be here. Congratulations, students, on your academic successes, and best wishes for continued success in the future. And once again, thanks for involving me. You always learned a good deal about me. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do at UW Eau Claire. I wear 3 different hats, and like some of our speakers earlier today, I feel I have one of the best jobs in the world. So one of my hats is to teach Spanish all different levels. It's something I've been doing really since 1984 or so, and I love it. Teaching Spanish, I worked in Minnesota for a while, New York as well, but I wanted to come back to Eau Claire and to Wisconsin, and it seems that that's really a common thread in what has been said today. Another hat is teacher training. I work in the field of foreign language education, and I love that as well. It's great to work with people committed to education and people wanting to teach young people, be it elementary school, middle school, or high school. And then the newest hat that I wear is that of director of the honors program. Okay? This is a really fun job. Basically, as director of the honors program, I work daily with students like you. Students who are highly motivated, students who pursue academic excellence, and it's really just a unique opportunity. What we try to do at Eau Claire for this group of about 380 students is to have special course offerings, and then we try to have opportunities beyond the classroom. Okay? And the way I like to frame it is, we don't want to give honor students more work. We want to give them unique, enriching experiences during their time at UW Eau Claire. So that's what I do. Honors, foreign language education, and Spanish. A couple years ago at Eau Claire, I heard a speaker. He was working with faculty at the start of the academic year, and he said something I found rather interesting. And it was thoughtful. It was simple but thoughtful. He said, education is full of beginnings and endings. And if you think about it, that's true. Every semester, we start an academic year. Some of us work on quarter systems. We can think of when we started and finished elementary school, middle school, and now for you, high school. I think those beginnings and endings really prompt mixed emotions. There's the excitement, for example, of beginning again, starting anew, as we do each fall. But then there's kind of the melancholy, mixed emotion reality of endings, such as your upcoming graduation. I think with those beginnings and endings, it's important to celebrate. Celebrate as we're doing today, and celebrate as you'll be doing in your respective graduations in the near future. So, you know, we really do want to encourage excellence, and then I think in turn it's important to celebrate excellence and celebrate our different accomplishments. Two pieces of advice I would give you today. One would be find role models. Have role models in life. People you look up to and people you can learn from. Here's an example in my case. My predecessor in honors at UW Eau Claire, his name is Ron Nickel. And Ron recently retired after 42 years at UW Eau Claire. I think Ron set a record at 42. None of us will ever get to that level. He came to Eau Claire as a very young faculty member from Pennsylvania, and he made the wise decision to stick around. For the last 20 years, Ron worked in honors and then passed it along to me with his retirement. Ron recently shared something with me, and I've learned so much from him over the years, but I asked him, Ron, what was the highlight for you of all your years at UW Eau Claire and the many hats that you wore? And he said, like this, he said, the honors program. And I said, why? And he said, the students. What a treat and what a privilege to go to work each day with creative, talented, committed, motivated young people. He said, there's nothing better than that. And I'm sure your teachers feel the same. So have role models. Another piece of advice I would like to give you is travel. See the world. See the world with open eyes and with an open mind. There are many ways to do so. We have the example of the Doyles and the Peace Corps. What a wonderful idea. Okay? Another avenue at your respective universities, I'm sure, will be study abroad. Eau Claire is well known for its study abroad programs, be it Australia, Japan, Spain, or elsewhere. Okay? So see the world. And I can tell you, once travel gets in your blood, it's with you forever. Okay? Parents, I should give you a quick little word of warning here. My sister went abroad to Japan some years ago to study for a semester, and my folks thought she would return after the semester, and it took her 15 years to return. What happened there is that she decided to graduate from Sophia University, Tokyo, rather than UW Eau Claire, and then she ended up working for Goldman Sachs in Tokyo rather than in the United States. But that's not the norm, okay? Study abroad, but then to come home. And another avenue you might want to pursue in terms of travel is something called National Student Exchange. Many universities are in a national network, and via an application process, you can decide to spend a semester or a year at another institution in another part of the country. So see this beautiful country, see other parts of the world. It's really a eye-opening, heart-opening, and life-enriching experience. To sum it up, it's clear that you've done great things. Okay? I encourage you to continue to work to do more good things. Take your talents, go out into the world, and let's make it all a more peaceful place to live. Thank you.
What happens to the best plans? We had this all sorted out, but I think it'll work anyway. Good morning. I am Linda McConnell, a gifted and talented resource teacher at Lincoln High School, and I too think I have the best job. So I want to tell everyone how glad I am to be here. I feel very honored to share the stage with our speakers today, and I am extremely proud to have the opportunity to recognize students' achievements in our own school as well as area schools. In the words of an unknown author, excellence is the result of caring more than others think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible. I suggest that these words epitomize the struggles and achievements of our valedictorians, salutatorians, and highest honor students. They are the students who have challenged themselves to do their very best in every class they have taken over a 4-year period. In addition to being committed to their schoolwork, many of these same students are actively involved in extracurricular activities such as athletics, quiz bowl, drama, forensics, and student council. I would be willing to bet that most of you have taken or are taking advanced placement classes, and I'll bet many of you will be entering college with credits you have earned while in high school. I would like to recognize these students for their academic excellence. They are valedictorians, salutatorians, and highest honor students from our area schools. Guests, please hold your applause until all students are being recognized are standing, and students, please stand when I call your name. Valedictorians from Lincoln, Marcus Jenke. From Arcadia, Margot Sendelbach. From Black River Falls, Courtney Danzinger, Jill Jenke, Brian Midborg, John Nowinski. From Blair Taylor, Melissa Coxling. From Gallacher Trumpo, Jennifer Dockin, Katie Longwell. From Melrose Mindoro, Megan Grindy. From Osceola Fairchild, Danielle Belly. Salutatorians from Lincoln, Joe Janke. From Arcadia, Bridget Wolf. From Black River Falls, Ellen Nordahl. From Blair Taylor, Paula Hardy. From Independent, Scott Mimius. From Melrose Mindoro, Megan Neubauer. Other high honor students from Lincoln, Mander Loffenberg, Megan Mandigo. From Blair Taylor, Beth Alexson. From Melrose Mindoro, Casey Cotton, Jessica Crandall, Jeremy Ebner, Mitchell Johnson, Ashley Larson, Emily Rand, and Arlen Stern. Good job, everyone. Colleges like to use ACT scores as a predictor of academic success in college. Obviously, it is a difficult test where students are normed against students from across the nation and where the questions draw upon knowledge acquired from all academic areas. On a test where 36 is a perfect score, a composite score of 28 puts the student in the 93rd percentile, 29 in the 95th percentile, and so on. We should all be very proud to announce that in West Central Wisconsin, in our small rural communities, we have students whose scores place them at or above the 93rd percentile in the nation. Will these students with ACT composite scores of 28 or better please stand to be recognized? From Lincoln, Kyle Hubbard, Joseph Janke, Marcus Janke. From Arcadia, Ian Ellert, Courtney Okers, Elizabeth Rindall, Atanza Valentine. From Black River Falls, Kevin Christie, Courtney Danzinger, Kim Hegna, Matt Henkel, Justin Janke, Nick Millis, Ellen Nordahl, and John Nowinski. From Blair Taylor, Paula Hardy. From Gallacher Trempo, Tyler Bunton, David Cranenbuhl. Oh, I'm sorry about that. David Cranenbuhl, is that right? Lindsay Lebachen, Katie Longwell, Kyle Nelson, Tom Frischel, Tim Veit. From Melrose Mindoro, Jessica Crandall, Elizabeth Foss, Megan Grindy, William Taylor, and Grace Hecker from Osceola Fairchild. Wonderful job. Lincoln has been hosting this event now for 8 years, and during that 8 years, I have announced 3 individuals from area schools receiving National Merit Scholar finalist recognition. What an achievement for our school and our students. This year, I am proud to introduce to you Lincoln's first full-fledged National Merit Scholar. Marcus Janke, will you please stand? To put this in perspective for everyone, 1,300,000 people, young people, take the test. Of that, 15,000 across the nation are selected to be National Merit Scholars. It is an amazing accomplishment, and we are so proud of you, Mark. In addition to being a National Merit Scholar, Marcus was named Wisconsin's All-State Scholar, one of 144 in Wisconsin. As you've probably seen today, many times good things come in twos. That is the case with Marcus and his twin brother Joe. Joe, would you stand, please? Because he was named a Horatio Alger National Scholar, an award that is given to 100 individuals nationwide. Congratulations to both of you gentlemen. Our communities, our state, our country, and our world needs good problem solvers, good thinkers, and good leaders. Again, in the words of an unknown author, a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the quality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. In the end, leaders are like eagles. They don't flock. You find them one at a time. We have with us today the student council presidents from area schools, people who were chosen by their peers to represent them because they trusted their judgment and respected their character. I would like to recognize the student council presidents from our area schools. From Lincoln, Lindsay Hayden. From Black River Falls, Aaron Rosette. From Blair Taylor, Derek Hughesmone. From Gillesher Trempeau, Lindsay Lebakken. From Melrose Mindoro, Megan Grindy. From Osseo Fairchild, Melissa Frenstead. Congratulations. Due to the generosity of Senator Herb Kohl, each school has the opportunity to nominate students for a Kohl Scholarship. Candidates must have achievements not only in academics, but music, speech, athletics, leadership, community service, and work experience. Students who meet this criteria are truly exceptional students and true assets to our schools and communities. I would like to introduce to you the Herb Kohl nominees from our schools. From Lincoln, Marcus Janke and Tony Larson. From Black River Falls, Courtney Danzinger and John Nowinski. From Gillesher Trempeau, Nikki Casey and Lisa Christensen. And from Osseo Fairchild, Amanda Hanula. Congratulations. Students, your achievements are impressive, but we know that many people helped you on the way. Some of those people are here with you today. Today I would like to recognize teachers chosen by the students that they felt were most influential in their academic success. On behalf of all of the teachers who helped students achieve, who challenge and guide, and in some instances counsel, I would like to recognize from Lincoln, Mary Ann Casper and Diane Kuyak. From Black River Falls, Tony Berger and Rich Elrod. From Blair Taylor, Lisa Perry, Don Cook. They also chose to honor Ted Ingram, even though we claim him now at Lincoln. Matt Wenthy from Gale Electric Trempeau, and Scott McConnell from Independence, and yes, we're related, and I'm very proud of them. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. We continue to hear about troubles in the Middle East and budget shortfalls in Madison and in Washington. In spite of this, our teachers teach and our students learn. What an amazing accomplishment. Parents, administration, school board members, on behalf of the students and the gifted and talented coordinators from our area, I would like to thank you for your support of gifted education. When I look out on the students here today, I can't help but feel very reassured that the future is in good hands. Thank you, students and parents, for sharing this morning with us. Thank you to our special guests for your inspiring messages. I would like to close with some final words of wisdom, once more written by that famous author, Unknown. Resolve to be tender with the young, passionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant with the weak and wrong, because sometime in your life you will have been all of these. Thank you for coming, and have a safe trip home and back to work.